Well, it's like the same as if somebody's intoxicated. They can't give informed consent, right? They're too drunk. So if the dolphin had the brain of a drunk woman, then no, you can't have sex with that dolphin. But if it was like Professor Dolphin, like maybe she's got her own, I don't know, dolphin school that she runs, or Dr. Dolphin, and you want to bang, I think that's fine. As long as you can communicate that.
Remember when we first met John McClane? Argyle picked him up from the plane and took him down the Nakatomi Tower at the Christmas party. And the terrorists were overzealous, but it was sweet when they killed Ellis. And with a little help from Alan, John McClane kicked ass.
Welcome back to Shat the Movies, the podcast where we answer the question, were the movies we loved when we were growing up really that good? Have you ever caught yourself thinking, why don't they make movies like they used to? Can you still remember spending your Friday night searching for the perfect movie rental at Blockbuster Video? Do you know what Blockbuster Video is? If you answered yes, then this is the podcast for you. I am one of your hosts, Gene Lyons, and alongside me is my co-host, Big D, Dick Ebert.
Good evening.
And each week, we take a look back in time to decide if our favorite films still hold up. The movies we cover are chosen by you, the listeners, who generously commission the films you love. If you like to sell the movies we have covered, will cover one, and choose one for yourself, please visit shatpod.com and have a look. At the end of each podcast, we'll provide you, the audience, with the number of wipes each movie would take to get off your respective butts. So thank you so much for listening. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button and share it with a friend. It's how we help the podcast grow. Additionally, subscribe to our sister podcast, Shat on TV. Review TV series such as Westworld, Taboo, American Gods, Game of Thrones, True Detective, Lovecraft Country, and Watchmen. Find all our information and past episodes at shatpod.com/TV. And finally, if you would like to hang out with us live, you can follow and subscribe to our Twitch channel, shatpod.com/Twitch, and our YouTube channel, where we play video games, host watch parties, and edit this podcast live. All that being said, Big D, what movie are you reviewing tonight?
So, Jane, before I get to tonight's film, I want to talk about tonight's commissioner. Emmett from Orange has been with us since way back in 2019. He is a great supporter of the TV shows we've done, of the movies, and his commissions have not only been helpful to the podcast, but he is a kind and generous supporter of other people's films. There's multiple times that he has contributed to commission for other members of the community and of the Shat family. He commissioned National Lampoon's Vacation, Tom from Crane and now Midland, Texas. He commissioned The Nightmare Before Christmas for one of our young viewers, I believe in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been great, and it means a lot to us. He means a lot to me. I recently went out to L.A., where he's from, and his first commission, L.A. Stories, had taught me the importance of embracing your inner Sandy, where you should enjoy every day. You should take the plunge, take the step to get maybe a little uncomfortable and have fun and do things and don't sit back. So when I was in LA, I was thinking of him. Emmett, thank you for your support. Thank you for everything you've done. And thank you for tonight's commission, which I think is your 8th. And you have a couple more coming up at the end of the year for the Halloween Shattacular. So tonight's film, the 1988 American science fiction musical romantic comedy, Earth Girls Are Easy.
And Emmett wrote in and said, Big D and Gene and Shat crew, first of all, thank you for everything you guys do. I don't know how you're able to come up with hours and hours of really entertaining dialogue about random movies from the 80s and 90s, but you have so many of us hooked. Thank you for what you do. Truly, it's a real gift. You always ask what our experience is about the movie we're commissioning, and in this case, I had only recently come across this movie on a Facebook page, which touts old VHS movies from the 80s and 90s. When I saw the all-star cast of Jim Carrey, Jeff Goldblum, and Geena Davis, I thought, wow, this is something we need to look at. Most recently, albeit 2 years ago, there was a thread of conversation about whether Geena Davis was a sex symbol or a gorgeous actress. I think her bikini expose will bring that conversation back to the forefront. To me, she looks like a young, hungry Hollywood actress. I would posit the question, what the heck are they doing with Jeff Goldblum? Are they trying to make him the next Tom Cruise, Don Johnson, or Tom Selleck? Maybe my 2025 eyes and knowledge of Goldblum or whatever throws me off, but he sets off a certain radar, if you know what I mean. This movie is extremely strange. I'm not sure if you should have a couple beers, edibles, or a handful of mushrooms watching it, but I definitely caught myself laughing out loud and also wondering, where the hell is this movie going? I want to put it into your expert hands to see what you can shake out of this tree. I'm not sure where I would score it, probably something like 2.5 or 3.5. At some points during this movie, I thought this is a real dumpster fire. Then other parts made me laugh. So let's see what you come up with. I'm excited to listen, and thanks again for taking my commission on this zany ass movie. P.S. Ash, please try to make an appearance for Ed Wood. I had you in mind for that commission. All the best, Emmett in Orange County. Well, Emmett, I'm proud to report that I did watch this movie drunk. Don't know that it helped a lot, but wanted you to know that you're going to get at least one intoxicated review of Earth Girls Are Easy.
You see, but I think that was a mistake. I envisioned Gene Lyons watching this sober, so my impression of what you would think might be askew. My experience was sober, and I'm glad I was sober because I got to enjoy the nuance of this fun, kind of strange, offbeat comedy. Tonight might be a weird review, Gene, because this is a film I would normally hate.
Oh, I would have bet money that you would hate this film, and I was kind of shocked at your nuanced approach to it. Earth Girls Are Easy is a 1988 science fiction romantic comedy starring Geena Davis, Julie Brown, Charles Rocket, Jeff Goldblum, Damon Wayans, and Jim Carrey. The plot is based on the song Earth Girls Are Easy from Brown's 1984 EP, Goddess in Progress. Well, Big D, I was super excited when you mentioned Emmett had commissioned this movie because Emmett has outstanding taste, is very generous, and also because I thought you were talking about the mating habits of the earthbound human, which was released in 1999. This one, Earth Girls Are Easy, despite having a crazy good cast, never made it into my 80s viewing repertoire. I have seen Mating Habits of the Earthbound Human. Again, people, 99. If you want to commission it, it'd be great. But this is my first go around with Earth Girls Are Easy.
So for me, even though I'm excited for this, I have no memory of this film. The only thing I know was the VHS box cover that we had in Blockbuster, and you got the rocket ship. It looks kind of like, what was that, the cartoon with Bender the robot on Fox?
Futurama.
Yes. It's got.
I think it looks like the Wienermobile.
It probably is the Oscar Mayer Wiener. I could see that. You got the wheels taken off and it becomes a spaceship. But you can tell from the box that it's going to be campy. It's going to be wild. It's going to be low budget. Wasn't a big hit. We'll get into that, but this is early Jim Carrey, young, attractive, before he became famous. You've got Damon Wayans before In Living Color. He'd done a couple movies, and it seems oddball. It seemed like a low budget film. And at the time, not knowing either of these guys, and we had talked about Jim Carrey, that I really didn't discover him until later on in his filmography and then went back. This was one I did not go back on simply because of the romantic musical comedy. That's usually something that was a no-go for me.
Well, now it is time for the trailer. Take it away, Julie Brown.
I'm going to show you something that's going to totally change your life completely forever.
She's a brunette from Southern California. And he's not.
I need romance. I need surprises. A UFO landed in my pool. They captured me. I fed them Pop-Tarts, but you've got to cut their hair.
What did you say?
They may be from outer space.
So, they could still be dates.
I think we could just make them look more sort of human.
Hey, come on, everybody. We're doing a makeover.
But underneath, they're more than human.
Wow, you're incredible.
I could fix you up with some bodacious chicks just like that.
I can't believe you're printing an alien in front of all these people. I'm going home with him.
Are we limp and hard to manage?
Wait a minute, are you coming on to me?
Her boyfriend's a doctor
I've never, ever been unfaithful to you.
whose treatment is totally alienating.
Here comes Dr. Love.
And her new love's an alien who's more than accommodating.
Do you own your own home or do you rent?
Geena Davis, Julie Brown, and Jeff Goldblum in a film directed by Julien Temple and produced by Tony Garnett.
I just don't want you to think Earth Girls Are Easy.
Earth Girls Are Easy.
In the San Fernando Valley, manicurist Valerie Gale is starving for sexual interest from her fiancé, Dr. Ted Gallagher. So she gets a makeover from her salon manager, Candy Pink. That night, Valerie sets out to seduce Ted, but he arrives home with a nurse. Heartbroken and angry, Valerie kicks him out and destroys his belongings.
So this film, from the moment we get the first frame and we meet the aliens in space, it is full bad compositing, green screen, neon lights, fuzzy walls. It's clear that this movie is not to be taken seriously. And that goes for the characters. We meet Val, and she's having a hard time with Ted. She is reading books. She's got candles out. She's got incense oils, light bulbs. She's got all kinds of aphrodisiacs. She's got the whole thing. She's got the mood lighting. She's got the role playing, the outfits. And I'm watching this and I'm thinking, this movie aside, why is this something in culture? Why is this something that exists where women have books, how to seduce your man? Do you think, Gene, as a man, do you need to be seduced?
Me personally, no, but I need clear indicators. And I found that the older I get and the more I'm in a established relationship, the signals need to be much more blatant. Like, I am the type who does not want to initiate if my partner is tired or has a headache. I want to be considerate, right? And so it's very helpful to have very clear cues like lingerie, or maybe somebody just being naked in bed, things like that, or like, oh, this means sex time.
Well, I think it's because you're such a sensitive partner and sensitive lover. I remember you mentioning that if Sarah had been working out and was sweaty, you would run through scenarios in your head like, oh, I don't know if maybe right now would be the right time. I kind of smell or whatever. But women don't need a magic playbook, ladies. You don't need all of these doodads, these gadgets to sell us on getting lucky. Any guy, if you ever said, I want you inside me, it's over. Ted is on board. Ted would, I think, even with the hickey and maybe just getting lucky before that, Ted is in it. Women, you don't need to have all of this, like this cottage industry about seducing men.
You just said this movie aside, but we're talking about this movie. And in this movie, Val is not getting laid. Like, that's why she's trying so hard. You see the scene where she goes through all that stuff you mentioned, the oysters, the mood lighting, the champagne, the role playing, all that stuff. And Ted comes home and he curls up in bed and, oh, I had a rough day. Let's just go to bed, Val. I honestly felt terrible for Val. And so many people slip into sexual complacency out of this sort of repeated rejection, right? Where you tried enough times, the other person's not going for it. And like at some point you just give up and you essentially live your lives together as co-consumers, right? What are we buying next and where are we going?
So they did show later on when she's preparing for the trip to Vegas that she had the massager, the giant massager in her bag. And also she makes the comment to the girls in the spa where she works in the, what do they call it? The
Salon?
curl up and dye, and dye, that she says it's been 2 weeks. So it's not like she's completely starved. 2 weeks for a busy doctor. Let's cut him some slack.
2 weeks at her age? Tell me at that age you could go 2 weeks without getting laid.
By choice, no. but I know it's survivable, Gene.
Well, before I absolutely tear into this movie, I'd like to say that Geena Davis does a great job in it. And Emmett is right. She is magnificent. Given a normal rom-com, she would have been fine. Like, this movie would have been okay. You cannot deny her charm as this neglected, in my opinion, super hot fiancé. And her body is banging. Like, this is prime Geena Davis. They make use of that height. They make her look great. I thought she had good chemistry with Dr. Ted. I thought she had good chemistry with her coworker, Candy Pink. She is the star of this movie. And I was really sad, actually, when the aliens showed up and we started to have problems, because that's where the movie starts to go off the rails. Geena Davis herself, magnificent.
I got a Jamie Lee Curtis kind of vibe from her. Very attractive. We get to see a fun montage when she goes to the spa and Candy Pink does her up. So we get to see like the 8 different types of women that she could be. And I agree, she is extremely attractive. But as the character goes, cheating is never right. And Ted, he makes comments that he hasn't cheated above maybe kissing. I don't know how believable that is. And cheating is never the right answer. But that being said, if we were friends with Ted, Gene, if he was our friend and he brought home and was dating Val, you and I would be giving him warnings. She is giving off every possible red flag. When the relationship goes askew and he's caught, she destroys things in the apartment, all the things that he cares about. You get flashbacks to when they were dating in high school, and she somehow like wanders onto the field and gets tied up with like him as the receiver. She's microwaving a watch, which I envisioned was like a family heirloom. She's clueless. She's childish. She throws tantrums. And if we were friends with Ted, what would you say to Ted as a friend?
Wow, she's super hot, dude. What's that
so
like?
So you'd be okay with it?
Yeah, I'm okay with Val. Yeah. I mean, Val is the stereotypical cosmetologist, manicurist, right? Like she's a young nail tech, and I don't see anything wrong with her. I mean, what you just mentioned, like, I don't think she did anything wrong. She's a partner who isn't as capable as Ted, right? Ted should start thinking about, maybe the advice I'd give him is like, hey, maybe another doctor would be somebody good for you. Somebody a little more, I don't know, challenging. Maybe somebody who doesn't dote over you. Like Ted wants to get kicked in the balls. That's what Ted wants, right? But Val is sexually frustrated. She's talked down to, she's cheated on. I think she has every right to be furious. And again, you see this all the time, Big D. You've got to have friends like this, right? Where they've got a partner who they're like almost angry with their partner because their partner isn't at their level. That's not the partner's fault, dude. That's your fault.
But I'm saying that Ted should have done the right thing. Ted should have called it off. Ted should have gone and lived his best life. And you know that Val would have found somebody in the valley who was perfect for her. Maybe she ends up with Woody. Who knows?
I don't know. I think if somebody cheats on you, you get to wreck their stuff. Them's the rules. Well, meanwhile, 3 furry aliens passing Earth, Mac, Zebo, and Whiplock, see a broadcast showing human females. Titillated by these hairless, shapely creatures, they crash their spaceship into Valerie's swimming pool while she sunbathes. Valerie is frightened at first, but then she invites the aliens into her home and calls her friend Woody to drain the pool. Despite a language barrier, the aliens prove to be quick learners and absorb American pop culture and language by watching television.
So I like that we always get aliens that are coming to Earth to conquer, invade, kill, use Earth for resources. I don't know that I've honestly ever met a group of aliens that just want to come here and seduce people, that they want to get laid. These guys, they are like horny 3 guys. I imagine that this is their personal ship and they just go around the galaxy looking to hook up, no matter what it is. Human, that's like, hairless. Maybe it's some kind of like slimy tentacled woman. They're down. This is a road trip. It's like American Pie or like Star Trek all combined. It's different. I thought it was fun. And maybe this was because it's kind of like a throwback. The film is made as if it was like the old Flash Gordons, where it was like space travel was kind of weird and almost steampunk. And Captain Kirk, back in those times, he would bed lovely ladies, no matter what like race they were or what kind of species of aliens they were. So I like it. And Gene, I want to ask you, if we were able to go to other planets and we became explorers and someone were to sleep with an alien species, is that bestiality, some kind of intergalactic bestiality, or is this something that would be okay and maybe interest a single Gene Lyons?
It depends on whether that species could give consent. Like,
oh, of course.
They're clearly not beasts. That's what bestiality is, right? Animals can't give consent. They don't have the intellect to give consent to a human. Therefore, it is bestiality, right? But yeah, if it's another species that has the ability to give consent, I don't think it's bestiality. I think it's just sex.
So by that rationale, if one day we could translate or a universal translator to dolphins.
Yeah.
And a dolphin were able to consent.
Yeah.
Would that be okay for someone to have sex with a dolphin?
I think so.
So consent is the gateway.
If the dolphin had the intellectual capacity to consent, not if it had the brain of like a 3-year-old.
You're throwing all kinds of constraints on this.
Well, it's like the same as if somebody's intoxicated. They can't give informed consent, right? They're too drunk. So if the dolphin had the brain of a drunk woman, then no, you can't have sex with that dolphin. But if it was like Professor Dolphin, like maybe she's got her own, I don't know, dolphin school that she runs, or Dr. Dolphin, and you want to bang, I think that's fine, as long as you can communicate that.
So would you be down for that on another planet?
Would I fuck a dolphin on another planet?
No. Some kind of species from another planet. Intellectual. They consent. They do the whole thing.
I'm not married. Or actually, Sarah would probably be like, yeah, go for it. Yeah, with Sarah's permission. Yeah, I'd bang an alien. That'd be fine.
Yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool.
I think I'd have to get like a doctor's note, right? To say it's clear. You don't know. I don't want to be like a District 9 situation, where I start becoming an alien. Spoiler alert.
No.
Yeah.
No, and you have to just make sure you're anatomically compatible.
What I thought was odd is these 3 dudes crash on Earth and only one of them gets laid. They're 3 horny dudes. They're cooped up in a ship with one another. They find this planet where females are anatomically compatible. What luck in the entire fucking universe, and attracted to them. And they're like, oh yeah, like let's get it on. And then there's like told no, and they back off. I was really disappointed by that. I wanted to see everybody getting laid.
Well, I think that was just the constraints of the runtime of the film. We saw in the nightclub, you had
they made plenty
Whiplock.
of time to do other shit in this movie.
But listen, Whiplock, he had a whole bunch of groupies. He could have gotten laid easily. Zebo, another group of groupies.
Why are we fucking around on the beach? Why don't we have sex scenes with Whiplock and Zebo, man?
Yeah, you had so many better options than Candy. At that point, they could have had a large group activity. That would have been. But again, you're not gonna make it like a PG-13 or even what was this R-rated?
I think it was PG-13.
Oh, it's PG, Gene, not even PG-13.
PG, yeah.
PG, yeah, no orgies.
And Big D, I'm sure the writers thought it was funny to have the aliens learn from TV and be able to replicate the exact sounds and actions and quotes that they witnessed on TV. But let's face it, in 1988, this movie's released in Canada. I think 89, it was released in the US. At that point, the idea is old. Like we saw it in E.T. in 1982. We saw it in Short Circuit in 86, The Terminator, Mac and Me, Explorers, Flight of the Navigator, all these 80s movies that had aliens. What would they do? They'd come down, or robots. They would come down, they'd watch TV. They'd be left alone with the TV, and then they would learn how people act. If you're going to do that in 1989 with Earth Girls Are Easy, you got to add something new to the mix. And this wasn't charmy. It wasn't funny. It just really fell flat.
But I don't know what they could do to add a new twist to it. Like in Splash, the mermaid learns to speak English by watching TV fairly quickly. These guys don't even go through like an incremental learning cycle. They don't learn a few phrases. They start like doing almost copies of the sounds of quotes from movies, of commercials. They're showing us, I think, as the film is. Don't think about it. Just listen. They're aliens. They went from some kind of backwards sounding language to fluent in no time. So it didn't bother me.
Thank God they actually switched to English, because I was very uncomfortable when they were doing alien language. It was like I felt bad for the actors.
Did you? They were probably, you know how happy they were to get these roles, Gene? This was their big break.
They didn't look very happy. Because they weren't getting laid.
Oh, yeah.
Fearing Ted's reaction, Valerie takes Mac, Zebo, and Whiplock to the salon. After having their fur shaved off, the aliens turn out to be human-looking and attractive. At a nightclub, the aliens' looks, athleticism, and incredibly long tongues start to attract the ladies. Ted arrives and, finding Valerie missing, calls the police. She soon arrives with the aliens, claiming she won an MTV contest to spend the weekend with a rock band. When 2 police officers arrive, Valerie tells them that Ted is attacking her guests, and Ted calls off the wedding. Mac consoles a despondent Valerie by having sex with her.
Okay, so Emma is 9 years old, and for the summer, she had asked if she could get little like sticker press-on nails, these little ones. She sits on the coffee table just tapping her nails, and it
Awesome.
drives me nuts.
I love it.
Absolutely nuts. So watching Geena Davis, who at this point I'm starting to kind of warm up to Val. Yeah, she's into like astrology and crystals and new age energy, and she puts pyramids under the bed to try to boost sexual energy. These nail things, Gene, it's a deal breaker for me. And I'm imagining if Emma came home with these, the things we see in this movie. Yes, it's 88. Yes, it's LA. It's the Valley. She works in the spa, like I said, the salon, and every one of these women have these claws, like 2-inch, 3-inch. I don't know that I've ever met anyone other than the women who have the nails that think this is something cool or something admirable. Like the Guinness Book of World Records, when they show the longest nails and they curl up, that shit's nasty. Like when I see somebody with those nails, I think, how could you wipe on the toilet? How do you do basic things that a finger is designed for? Now, Gene, I've never stared at your wife's fingers, but I'm imagining she is a well-groomed, well-manicured, like her fingernails are nice and well kept. Do you know anyone who thinks this is normal or attractive or something that isn't just an attention-getting gadget that people do?
Well, obviously, Sarah trains jiu-jitsu. She trains Krav Maga, and she tortures people at her clinic. So she has like no nails to speak of. And in jiu-jitsu, one of the great things about it, if people don't know this, we keep our nails trimmed as like a matter, like hygiene is huge, and you got to keep your nails trimmed all the time because you will scratch the shit out of people. It's a big no-no. At some schools, they will like inspect your nails, like that scene in Full Metal Jacket. Of course, Sarah has well-trimmed nails, but I'm going to speak for the female audience here and any males out there with acrylics and say, Big D, it doesn't matter if you or I find it attractive. It is not for us. It's not. It's only for the person who's getting it done. The lady at the salon, she's getting her nails done for herself. It's an opportunity to go and sit and get a process, and they like it. I know this because I grew up in a salon. One of the craziest things is you will see these people. I think we've talked about this on the podcast before, where a person could spend 30 minutes 3 times a week at the gym, maybe go for a couple walks a week, spend minimal money. And if you're talking about making yourself more attractive to men, a woman could do that. And I guarantee she will get more of a response from guys. She doesn't have to do makeup, do her nails, do her hair, anything like that. Just be fit, right? That's like the number one thing I think that you can do to attract somebody of the opposite sex. Again, that's not for everybody, but I think that's for most people. These women are coming in sometimes at my mom's salon to get extensions and nails multiple times a month, spending hundreds of dollars and dozens of hours in the chair. But I think they do it partly because it's an experience for them. They're pampering themselves, and it takes very little effort, just a lot of money.
But can you think of any fashion or any other trend that adversely affects your ability to do other normal tasks in your day?
Heels.
Like, for example, okay, heels, yes, but heels isn't a permanent thing. I'm thinking something like those large hoops or like a large tongue ring.
Yeah.
Those things that make life difficult, some things.
Corsets.
Yeah, there's a lot. So it seems like a lot of them are women. Other than
mini
guys,
skirts.
the only thing for guys, I think, is now that I'm starting to grow facial hair, it is a pain in the ass to eat like certain things like soup.
Oh, yeah.
Or you get condiments
Mustard.
in it. I hate it.
Fucking hot dogs are a disaster these days. Just a disaster.
It is. So we're suffering, Gene.
I feel like we need like a face bowl. After you eat, you could just plunge your face into a bowl. Maybe that's why men in the day always carried like a kerchief,
to clean off the stash,
just clean up our necktie.
Yeah, I now have one of these. Do you have a brush, Gene?
Oh yeah, I got a brush. It's not that big. Jesus Christ.
It's good it looks like I'm polishing my shoes. It's good to get the hair
like
away.
You're getting ready for the next customer.
From my mouth opening. Yes.
Speaking of which, I did not realize until the 2015 soft reboot of Jurassic Park when like Jeff Goldblum was like flung back into the limelight when we started rewatching those original Jurassic Park movies and start all the memes with Jeff Goldblum with his shirt wide open, hanging out. I didn't realize he was considered a sex symbol. And even then in 2015, when they started surfacing this, hot Jeff Goldblum, I thought people were either being ironic like they are with David Hasselhoff or just like it was a quirky kink, like nerdy girls liked this. I personally, I get it. I think he's hot, but I didn't know that Hollywood thought Jeff Goldblum was hot or could be presented in that way. And I think Emmett got to that in his letter too. Earth Girls Are Easy definitively settles that question because we do get a young Jim Carrey and he's supposed to be attractive and a young Damon Wayans and both of them, they look pretty good. But then we get Jeff Goldblum, and they make a production out of it. That reveal, there's the smoke and Geena Davis gas. Oh, I really like that. And we get this shirtless hunk with beautiful eyes and big hair and these gorgeously long fingers. The man has some really nice hands. And I realized, no acrylic nails, by the way. And I realized, oh shit, like this guy was being presented as mainstream hot the whole time.
But there is something unique about him. It's not just that he's attractive. He has, the abs will make anybody more attractive, but he has this gaze that he just looks at people like inquisitive, and you don't know what he's thinking. So it's mysterious. It's effortless. He's got this charisma that works. And what the fuck do I know, Gene? But I'm going to say it uniquely works across the spectrum. It seems like he would be he might be trying to seduce a guy, a girl, a guy and girl. He could seduce everything, including hairless human women. He could do it. And the last time I was this shocked was Steve Guttenberg. Do you remember Steve Guttenberg? When we saw him in Police Academy in those little jean shorts, and he looked like a more handsome and like Tom Selleck. This is shocking, Gene.
The added feature with Goldblum is it feels like every word he's giving you is a gift. Like every second you've got with him feels like a gift, you know? Like I'm like, just please give me another word. Give me another glance, sir.
And he has made a career out of this. He was even in what was it, Thor Ragnarok, where he plays an older version, more flamboyant, and his stupid like Hotel.com commercials. He's hypnotic. There's something magical about this fucking man. But at its core, this movie is a 1980s comedy, and they use comedy logic. And Gene, you always talk about the magic Negro?
Magical Negro, yeah.
The magical Negro who always comes into the plot, and you can solve any problem or has some kind of information to share. And here we get a little bit of it. They go to the nightclub. It's in LA. It's at the planetarium. And there's only one black alien. So immediately when they go to the club and there's all these beautiful white women, when the one black woman comes in the room, I'm like, oh, okay. So we know now who is going to get paired up with Zebo. We see her there. And then it goes even further, Gene. It turns into when these two guys, a guy comes in with a cane. He's obviously the other black guy in the club. And it's going to turn into a perfectly choreographed, full-blown dance-off. And it is painful to watch Damon Wayans do his best. And then did you catch there is a dancing double? And I don't know if you've looked it up, Gene, but I'm going to text it to you right now just so we can get your honest impression. There's a scene where the editor did not realize that the black guy in the film, like center screen, was not Damon Wayans and was the dancing choreographer, and left about 25 seconds of not Damon Wayans dancing. So this was either a genuine mistake that he couldn't tell them apart, or it was some kind of joke. Looking at those pictures now, what do you think it is?
The only way I can explain what I'm seeing right now it's clearly not Damon Wayans. The only way I think is like they were like, okay, we'll just shoot from behind them. And that way you can have the dance double for each guy, right? We can have two dance doubles. We'll just shoot from behind them. And that way you won't be able to notice it's a dance double. But the problem is that when they're facing each other. So if you're going to be behind one guy, you got to see the other guy. What I love is that the dance double is either acting as Damon Wayans, doing the facial expression and the hands, or he is genuinely confused about what the fuck is going on in this scene. That's a great screen grab. I did not catch that in real time.
He looks more like Peter Davidson from In Living Color. He's shorter, he's smaller. It looks nothing like him. And it is not like we're talking about in Robot Jox, where it is a momentary stuntman with a mustache. This is not Damon Wayans.
Are you talking about Pete Davidson from Saturday Night Live?
No. It was, I'm trying to look up his name. He was in Living Color. Davidson. Tommy Davidson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was like, Pete Davidson's not black.
No, and you know what? Looking at the pictures, that might be Tommy Davidson.
I mean, I know you think they all look the same.
What, dance choreographers?
So did the director. Yes, dance choreographers. I totally missed this, by the way, and it's probably because I was praying for the movie to end at this point. I was literally wincing at this point in the film. And again, mind you, Emmett, I had a buzz going, so I should have been having a pretty good time at this point. there were some mild Purple Rain vibes from the dance off, like two grown men settling things by performing in front of a club. I read somewhere that Earth Girls Are Easy was trying to carry the spirit of music videos into the film, that they wanted to do a sort of a musical, but not make it a Broadway style, make it based on music videos. Because you got to remember, 88, like MTV is huge at this point, right? They even name drop MTV in the movie. I really felt it here, where if this had been a music video, no dialogue, no real story there, you just kind of inferred by the things that were going along. 3 alien dudes show up at a nightclub and there's a dance off as part of it. And there's, Jim Carrey being weird in a lovely sweater. And there's Jeff Goldblum seducing people. Like it would work as a music video, right? One of those weird 80s music videos. Maybe Cyndi Lauper is doing it. But when you try to insert it into a movie, it hurts.
No, it's like you think about, Take On Me. Mm-hmm. It's something very similar. They're doing a cartoon character coming out into the real world. And this would be a perfect music video. I think you're right.
To this day, Iranian music videos basically still look like this. So,
I want to see one now.
I should really start doing a live stream of just us covering Iranian music, and you could do Swedish music videos.
Well, there's a lot of like Swedish bands. They're more well known, I think. I think you'd be shedding light and sharing some more information. That
it's not just going to be
ABBA. I could do is like Ace of Base and ABBA or Roxette.
There you go. Wow, Joyride, Swedish.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, the pool is fully drained and Zebo and Whiplock are working on their ship when Woody stops by and offers to take them to the beach. They agree, and after accidentally holding up a convenience store, Zebo and Whiplock are driving down a freeway the wrong way in reverse with the police in pursuit. Mac discovers his crewmates are in trouble and goes to help, but he is arrested along with Woody in a case of mistaken identity. Valerie smashes the police vehicle to get arrested too, so she can go with Mac.
So at this point, you've already said that you're starting to wish it was over. You're starting to, your mind's wandering. My mind was also wandering at this point for a different reason. I kept thinking about the title of the film, and you already said it's based on the song. And I think it's kind of weird because the phrase Earth Girls Are Easy implies that they're easy to get into bed or easier to convince someone to seduce them, manipulate them. It's like that old school vibe. They say, if you play your cards right, you can get lucky tonight. I think a more accurate title for this is Earth Girls Are Horny. All the women in this film are sex deprived, looking to get lucky, no strings attached, or maybe even Earth Girls are DTF. Because all the women run around, nobody wants to date, nobody's really talking about getting married. They're all emotionally disconnected from sex. They're all complaining about that men are either unable to perform, don't want to perform. So I think the title might be wrong. I think they could have flipped it to Earth Girls Are Horny.
If I understand this correctly, what you're saying is that easy has a negative connotation.
I think it's that they're easy to get into bed, easy to trick, or easy to convince. It's almost as if not that they want to do it. When you say Earth Girls Are Horny, that's something they're proactively seeking sex. Here, Earth Girls are easy for the men to get into bed.
But Earth Girls Are Horny kind of negates the alien aspect of it, right? Where you're 3 dudes cruising around in space, and you're like, oh shit, Earth Girls are easy. And you're like, oh shit, Earth Girls are horny. Like, okay, I don't know. To me, easy is pretty broad. It means somebody's a hoe, right? And that could be because they have, a need for validation or intimacy issues, or they're dumb. Like, you're right in those cases it's negative, but it could also mean that they just have an insatiable sex drive. Hence, Earth Girls are horny, like you said. But the point is, you got aliens, they're cruising in space, they show up on Earth, Geena Davis and Julie Brown and a bunch of other women want to fuck them. It's easy.
Okay, I hadn't thought of it like maybe the title was coming from the aliens, like talking about Earth, being like, damn, that was easy.
I think it's more like maybe on other planets, girls not so easy, but Earth girls are easy. Really, it should be American women are horny.
So it could be like Vulcan women are frigid.
None's not on the run.
Not on the run.
Big T, I do want to address the musical aspect of this film. It's something we haven't discussed yet. I'm fine with movies that feature no music at all. And I love a musical. That elevates a film in my book. But I don't know what the fuck we're watching here. Sometimes Julie Brown, she sings. Nobody else does in this movie. She's the only one who sings. I was expecting Geena Davis and Jeff Goldblum, Jim Carrey, Damon Wayans, all to have like numbers. And the songs that we do get, they were utterly forgettable. And finally, I turned to Sarah and I was like, hey, can you figure out what the fuck's going on here? And she goes, oh, maybe somebody in the movie had I get to do songs in their contract. Turns out, yeah, kind of. The film, as we said, it's based on a song by Julie Brown, Earth Girls Are Easy. She wasn't just in this movie. She co-wrote the movie. And the whole thing was intended to be a vehicle for her comedic voice. But then they showed it to the studio execs. They showed it to test audiences, and they're like, we don't get it. So they trimmed a lot of the planned music out of the movie, and we ended up with what we got here. I think they should have gone either full bore into the music or cut it completely.
But she was a VJ. What did she do on MTV?
You're thinking about Downtown Julie Brown.
Oh, that's
this
a completely...
is just regular Julie Brown.
Oh, fuck. It's a completely different person.
Yeah, Downtown Julie Brown was black.
Well, I don't see race.
And
Gene.
British.
That's part of it. I don't see race.
Oh, that's right.
They all look alike. But, oh, God, yes. But, Gene, you're so wrong. I can't believe you're so wrong about something so clear. You love musicals. You loved... When we had recently Haunted Honeymoon, which was a fucking travesty, they threw in a dance number for no reason. This wasn't Rocky Horror Picture Show, and
there was a reason. There was a reason. Do you remember what Gilda Radner's career was in that film?
Shut the fuck up. Jesus.
What was it? What did she do?
She was an on-air personality.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still, you didn't need everyone else in the room who was not... the aunt was not an actor performer.
You don't know her life. You don't know.
That's true. I don't know that. But whatever it is, Gene, whatever the reason, it worked for me. Yes, it felt forced. It felt strange. But for me, it fit in perfectly. The salon number, I got a Grease vibe. Beauty School Dropout. It was fun. They're singing about the salon, had a lot of energy, Gene. It set the tone for the movie. But the banger for me was at the end when we get Blonde. It's like an Annette Funicello parody. It's like Beach Blanket Bingo. They're at the beach. And each time she tries to spell out blonde, she keeps fucking up the spelling. I thought it was cute. I thought it was funny. In a movie where aliens are crashing in a pool, the song was the least thing to worry about.
That would have come out when you were like 11. Did they play that on the radio in New York?
Grease?
No. I'm a Blonde.
Oh, no. But I did have Grease, they did.
No, I'm a Blonde was on the radio constantly here in Arizona. Like morning radio, they would play that song all the time. It was right up there with like Boogie in the Butt.
Maybe that's why you have such a negative connotation to it.
No, I liked it as a song. I didn't like it in this movie.
Like the Grease soundtrack, I had the record. I loved it. So I don't know, maybe this is some deep-rooted connection I have to it, but it's the first musical numbers, Gene, where I wasn't just cringing, wishing they were over, because it seemed as if it was just there just to mock other musicals and other musical numbers.
I think it was, as they say, a vehicle for Julie Brown's comedic voice. No, not that Julie Brown, the other one. The police pursuit ends in a crash, and Zebo and Whiplock are taken to the emergency room. There, they're examined by Ted, who discovers they have two hearts. Valerie and Mac elude the police and enter the emergency room disguised as a doctor and a nurse and manage to convince Ted he is delusional. They escape to Valerie's house, where work continues on the spaceship. Meanwhile, Valerie and Ted reconcile and plan to elope in Las Vegas immediately. Mac is heartbroken and prepares the ship for takeoff. When Valerie goes to say goodbye to her alien friends, Ted discovers the ship, and Valerie realizes that Mac is the one she truly loves. She boards the spaceship, and they take off. So, Big D, it's 1988. We got a raunchy, horny comedy. We got beach babes. We got bikinis. We got sexy nurses. We got love scenes. And I'm wondering, where are the boobs? Other movies, like The Abyss, they're throwing boobs around for no reason. In this movie, again, it's 1988. I got a no-name nurse. She's got those glasses. She's got that white nurse's uniform. She's got those titties. I know what's going to happen here. We all know what's going to happen here. Geena Davis pulls out a gun, and she's like, take your clothes off. I'm like, finally, we're going to get the boobs. Nope, no boobs. The best we got in this movie, and it wasn't bad, was Geena Davis's see-through swimsuit. I felt robbed.
That's a stretch. Raunchy, horny comedy. This is PG. This isn't Porky's. This isn't Hard Bodies. This isn't any of that, Gene. This is a PG family fun time. Did you catch though the bait of the nipples when you have I got to look at the name, Mac. Mac is leaning against somebody, and it turned out to be like a costume of double nipples. I'm trying to think of where they were. There's a fake out of nipples.
What?
Yes. What is he leaning against?
You sure you were sober when you watched this movie?
I'm 100% sure there was, because I'm trying to think of where was it? Was he getting? Oh my God! I'm gonna have like a.
Was it during their sex scene?
Yo, I think it was the heart. It was her dream. That's where it was.
Oh,
it's the dream where Valerie. Thank God, I thought I was having a stroke. Valerie is having a nightmare, and there's alien species, and they're on an alien planet. We get to see an alien with the 4 nipples.
Yeah, let's talk about that dream sequence for a second, that nightmare. Judgy much, Val? Judgy? You just fucked a dude and you're having a nightmare about what he is? Like, there were tinges of racism here, you know?
Well, I think she's feeling the stigma of maybe intergalactic
think about that
bestiality.
before you bang a dude.
Dude, he's got the magic touch. Are you kidding me?
That's true. He does have magic touch.
I thought it was like catnip, that there was something he gave the cat to seduce the cat. The cat starts turning into some multi-dimensional rainbow. And we got to talk about that. We got to talk about that. And I'm glad you brought it up here, because we have to call it what it is. So these aliens, they're like intergalactic pleasure beings. They land on Earth and instantly they can speak the language. They absorb culture through TV. Then they use their knowledge to what, Gene? Enslave the human population? No. To seduce women. They learn to dance, full body flexibility. In the beginning, you saw them bend over. They could almost lick their own ass. That's how flexible these characters are. They're weirdly like hypnotic charm that they have, that it's Jeff Goldblum or the character. They're like cosmic love gurus. They're equal part goofy, but also highly evolved sex aliens. When we get this sex scene, he does the magic touch. And this magic touch is so powerful, Gene, it can make 2 over-the-top, like macho cops end up wanting to sleep with each other in the back of their patrol car. That's how powerful this alien invasion is. And I started thinking, if we had Independence Day, right, those aliens, you could try to take over the world by setting large ships around the world, blowing up the major cities. If you had a fleet of, say, 10,000 of these guys, you could breed out, prima nocta style, breed out the human species within 50 years.
When I was younger, I might have agreed with you, right? Like a Fuck Force 5 could come in and conquer Earth faster than an overwhelming military force. But now that I'm older and ruled by my brain rather than my dick, I see things very differently, because the key decision makers in the world, they're all very, very old and probably haven't been sexually aroused in a good decade. Like a bunch of limp dicks. They'd be impervious to the alien charms. Even Jeff Goldblum would be powerless to influence them.
So you think if there was like a female succubus, like a female temptress, and they're not going to try to take over Eugene. They're going to take over the young generation, breed them out, seduce them. You build up their numbers. And then by the time you realize it, that we realize it, Gene, we're so old, we're done. Yeah. Then the aliens come out.
Though. That takes forever. I think it's come in with lasers.
No, but man, it looked fun. It looked like they're well endowed, and you know that they know multiple intergalactic techniques for pleasure.
I don't know. It looked kind of boring to me, the sex.
Because we didn't see it, just like the boobs. Mm-hmm. In the uncut director's version, it's probably like the Karma Sutra times 10.
Right. But all musical scenes.
I'm all for it, Gene. I'm all for it.
All right, now's the time of the podcast to give our Shat score for Earth Girls Are Easy. The Shat score is our way of telling you how many wipes this movie takes to get up your respective butts. 0 wipes is a perfect movie. It's when you're blonde, you're gorgeous, and you're going to stay that way. And 5 wipes is an absolute disaster of a film. It's when you think he loves you, but he's just using you for sex and hairspray. I'll go first. Big D, I was actively angry with this movie. Imagine having this cast and this kind of budget. They had $10 million and churning out a turd. I felt like everyone on screen was struggling to make something out of a thin script with failed attempts at physical humor. The King Bee talked about this during Popeye, whereas like you just had certain scenes where the director must have yelled, "Look busy, do something funny," and they just had to fill time. The jokes were lame. The story had so many opportunities to correct itself and do something interesting, and it just didn't. The movie is painfully bad. I'm sorry, Emmett. I'm going to have to go 4 3/4 wipes.
No, I think you're being far too cruel. This movie had young talent, the energy and the charisma. You could feel it. Geena Davis and Jeff Goldblum, I think, were dating at the time, so that chemistry was real. And just think about how hard it would be. You have comedians, Damon Wayans, Jim Carrey, and Jeff Goldblum, who are very over the top. Yeah. Here, they had to make the jokes work for a majority of the film without being able to use English words. It was through their actions, but yet they weren't like pratfalls and physical, like goofy comedy. I think it was far better than that. Is it great? No, they embrace it. They pay attention, Gene, to weird details. Like I'm thinking, how would a spaceship fit in the pool? Okay, they answer that. They're actually smaller beings, and as they leave the ship, they grow larger. The fact that they thought these things through or thought to address that Damon Wayans, for some reason, even though the alien species appears to be the same, he's black when he is in human form. They address all these things, so there was thought put into it.
Was there a point in the movie where you laughed out loud?
Yeah, it's going to make me sound so stupid.
Yeah.
Is there's some unpleasant sound, and the three of them go, "Ee!"
Oh,
cover
God.
their ears. Come on. It was so stupid. It was funny. And I don't care. I don't care about being judged.
I know exactly what you're talking about. And that was the scene that made me angry. I was mad at them for being so silly.
And I think I've come down to why I find certain things funny and certain things just anger me.
Because you're old?
Is the amount that they go all in. No half measure. These guys went all the way, full throttle. When you thought they went too far, they went further. I'm not saying here it's like a 1 wipe. I'm saying it's a 3. It's worse than average, but it's not student bodies bad.
What was your score for Clue?
Well, that was an injustice. That was a grudge score. I've admitted that was a Roger Roper tainted score. The movie, even though I hate these locked up in a mysterious haunted mansion. We talked about Haunted Honeymoon. Clue is far better than that.
All right. Well, I'm glad you're admitting it now. Well, Emmett, I hope you're satisfied with that score. Before we close out, guys, we have voicemail and email to get to. The first one comes from the King of Planet Awesome, and it's about Star Wars.
Hey guys, it's Riley calling. Hope everything's going well over there at Shat HQ. Hope lives are going well. Just calling about the Star Wars episodes and hearing what Gene was saying. I don't understand people who get upset with people who don't like Star Wars or criticize Star Wars. It's funny because when Gene was going on about everything in, I just remember specifically some of the stuff he was saying in Return of the Jedi. Just whenever he was saying anything negative about the movie, because he had a lot, I was like, yeah, no, that's fair. Makes sense. He's saying it. He's saying everything, but like, I like it. You know what I mean? It's like, that's the one thing I've really, then now that I've gotten older, really come to appreciate about Star Wars. And I think it's just age, does that to somebody, is you stop criticizing people for having different opinions and you start having conversations with people who have different opinions. Because it's just like, I love the prequels personally. But I can see that they're not the best movies. Like Attack of the Clones is a bad movie, but I can still talk to people who don't like those movies, and we can talk and have a dialogue, and it's fun because Star Wars is meant to be fun. I mean, that's what fiction's about, right? I liked those episodes because I was able to kind of in my head, have a dialogue, kind of be like, okay, Gene says this, and then I could think of ways to be like, well, this is how I like this. And and I've had conversations with people in real life about this stuff or online and stuff. And it's just it's fun. I like it. I know some other people someone else called in and was not big on a lot of the new Star Wars stuff, and hey man, yeah, that's a-okay. Like that's cool, man. Like I'll be honest, like I loved the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, and I was not a big fan of the third one. But Ahsoka I liked, but that's probably because I liked the Clone Wars. Some people didn't watch the Clone Wars, so they didn't really understand Ahsoka, and you know what? That's cool. If you didn't watch a whole freaking 200 episode cartoon that looks bad for the first few seasons, it's like, that's fine, whatever, it's all right. But yeah, I just wanted to say that. Let's not take Star Wars super seriously, but like, it's okay to have different opinions, but like, let's talk about it because it's fun. And we all get to like share this wonderful franchise that we all love, minus Gene, which is fair. And yeah, you know what? You were saying you prefer Star Trek a bit better? Yeah, sometimes I prefer Star Trek a little better, a little more. But anyway, you guys take care. I've got 5 seconds left. You guys have a good one.
So, Riley, I've recently had a couple Star Wars moments. Emma and I sat down and watched The Skeleton Crew, and it was perfect for her. She was engaged. She was afraid it was going to be like the original trilogy. I think Star Wars should have been different types of Star Wars for different audiences. You don't need to always put them in the same world or in the same timeline. You could make Star Wars in the stories that they tell for different audiences. I just finished Andor Season 2, and I have not been so angry at what Star Wars could have been. Gene, I know you'll never watch it because you don't watch much TV unless you're forced to. Andor Season 1 and 2 showed what Star Wars could have been for an adult audience. They are so well developed and thought out, and the characters, the way they interact, the plots. Till you get to Rogue One, which I still think is arguably probably the second best Star Wars film for me. It is so good to what Star Wars, an adult Star Wars that makes sense, that isn't all about stupid Jedi lightsaber fights, and goes into a lot of what was going in and the rise of fascism and the Empire and how they overtook the Senate and all of the espionage and how the Rebel Alliance was formed. If you haven't watched Andor Season 1 or 2 out there, please watch it. If you were a Star Wars fan, you got turned off by the Book of Boba Fett or some of the other trash that Disney tried to shove down your throats, go give that. That will put a bookend and just close the book on Star Wars for you. So good.
One of my friends, Noah, vague booked today, and it just said, remember that there wouldn't be any prequels or sequels without the original. Just remember that. And I think it's a really important point to make, right? That like, regardless of whether or not we like Star Wars, me personally, whether I like Star Wars, A New Hope or Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, look at what it unleashed, right? You have to respect that. You have to respect the amount of economic activity, the jobs, the cultural phenomenon, the imagination that it's unloaded, and all these different products that came out of it. Like, that's absolutely fantastic. And Riley gets to a point that I think is really important. I think I enjoy the discussion of pop culture more than I actually enjoy pop culture. And I want people to like stuff and dislike stuff. It gets me excited when somebody thinks something I like is dumb. And it's also important to note that we all like something dumb. Every single one of us likes a thing that is dumb to other people. I'm a huge fan of Syphil and Ollie. It's a fucking sock puppet show from MTV that got canceled. I quote it all the time. It's brilliant. Will everyone understand it? No, absolutely not. I like industrial music. Will everyone get it? No, absolutely not. And if somebody's like, hey, industrial music sounds like somebody broke a washing machine, I'll go, yeah, fair. That's a fair assessment. I still like it.
And I think that's a good point. There is no fan base that's more abrasive and aggressive towards itself and siloed than Star Wars. It's Star Wars fans hate other Star Wars fans more than non-Star Wars fans do. We should get along and embrace the diversity.
It's like the Yankees of fantasy film.
I don't think that's appropriate. Why? The Yankees don't hate each other.
No, the Yankees fan base.
No, we don't hate each other. No, that's not true. There's no inter-Yankee hate.
You don't turn on your team if they don't perform?
No, players. But we don't turn on each other.
Oh, each other.
What I'm saying is that there's fans of, like, people get into their silos. There's even, I told you, Gene, I fell down a rabbit hole of the toy industry of people who've gone back and started creating the next line. They called them the next 15. figures that Kenner would have put out. And then there's half the collecting base that says, that's just a bastardization. That's not an original toy. And there's all kinds of smear campaigns, and it's fucking crazy.
Yeah. There's real problems in the world, guys. Don't take yourselves too seriously.
That is. When people replicate blasters or lightsabers and put them onto their original 1979 Kenner Obi-Wan Kenobis, that's the worst thing that could happen in the world.
Well, Riley, thank you for calling in. Next up, we have an email from Jared, who's calling in about American Ninja. He says, hey guys, I've been binge listening to all your podcasts for weeks now and absolutely loving it. Your movie selections are bang on in my wheelhouse, and it's given me a great list of movies to introduce my 14-year-old son to. Anyway, I have been listening in order and kind of swap and change between them all on Spotify depending on what my mood is. So today's episode for me was Gleaming the Cube. I remember watching this as a kid and loved it, but my email is not to talk about this. Listening to this episode had me go down memory lane about some other great bad movies. One of the movies that instantly comes to mind for me, and one that has yet to be done on the podcast, is American Ninja. This franchise, yes, they did a lot of them, has the epitome of great bad 80s movie actors, Michael Dudikoff. This movie is a classic example of how great a bad movie can be. The over-the-top acting, the obligatory badass black guy karate master, military hardasses, ninjas, and those awesome whoopah sound effects. My all-time favorite part of this movie is the fight scenes complete with bendy metal and wooden weapons, and the fight choreography that has people visibly waiting for their turn. Give it a watch. It's a classic, and it's free on YouTube. Cheers from all the way down in Australia, Jared.
How does this compare to Revenge of the Ninja?
American Ninja, it's more martial arty, I would say, and less decoys and explosions.
Less robot ninjas in the,
less
in
robot
the hot
ninjas.
tub?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. I'm down for that. I love ninjas.
I grew up on American Ninja, Jared. I would love to go back to it. So, and I'm glad to hear that it's free on YouTube. By the way, Big D, I'm making a pledge to the listening audience right now that I've been toying with this, and I think it's just a good thing is when we have upcoming movies and I see that they're for free somewhere, I'll be sure to post that on social, particularly Instagram and Twitter, just so you guys know that it's coming up. Because I noticed a couple of them, like Earth Girls Are Easy is now off of Amazon Prime Video, but it was on Prime Video up until I think today. So like alerting you to ones that might be going away or ones that might be coming, the best place to get them. So we'll be sure to do that. And I think it'll also just give you guys a preview of movies that are coming up. So anyway, Jared, thank you for the tip on American Ninja.
And then also, if I can promote with that, justwatch.com. It's a website that if you punch in a film, it'll tell you where you can see it. And it's usually fairly accurate.
Be very careful with Just Watch. When it shows you that Prime Video has a movie,
yes.
Sometimes it's a movie that's like that movie. It's not actually on Prime Video. So just a heads up.
I thought you were going to say there's another thing that happened to where
it's not always free.
Yes, they will make pretend like you can watch it there, and then they subscribe you to something like a Tubi like. And then all of a sudden I was like, where the hell did this $7 charge came from? And it was from a movie that I thought was free. Almost a third party to Amazon. So yes, it's a good point.
Yeah, sometimes Just Watch will do like you'll look for American Ninja and then it'll be like free on Prime and it'll be Revenge of the Ninja. It'll say movies like this. You know, that's obviously not what you want to do. Anyway, but thanks, Jared, for writing in. And finally, we have an email from our good friend Fernando, who's been popping up a lot on this podcast. He wrote it and said, "Hi, Shat Gang. I wanted to let you know that I've contributed $75 to the group commission for the movie Donnie Darko, matching Wes's donation. Hopefully you've had the chance to see it before. It's definitely one of those films that can take a few viewings to fully grasp and appreciate. Thanks, Fernando."
I'm excited for this one.
I think that gets up to what, 150 for Donnie Darko?
Yes.
Is that going to do it, or do we need a couple more friends to chip in?
I think that's more than enough. I think this is, I've seen only the screenshots, and just like, Scotty doesn't know, you've seen the clips of it, but you don't know it in context. The big, like, scary rabbit, and I don't know anything, but it looks very dark and frightening.
I think it's also a great opportunity to look back on Patrick Swayze. I don't think we've done a Swayze film in a while, and I always like to bring him back on this podcast.
Agreed.
All right. If you'd like to leave a voicemail for us, just go to shatpod.com and use the SpeakPipe feature. We'd love to hear your voice. And you can also email us, host@shatpod.com, and let us know what you're thinking about the podcast. Big D, what do we have coming up next week?
Gene, it always seems that movies we talk about during a review are somehow tied to upcoming films. The next movie, we have The Mermaid from Splash. We have Daryl Hannah. We have the hottest man in cut-off, like jean shorts, Steve Guttenberg. And it is the film that tells the story of Irish hoteler Peter, who attempts to fill the chronic vacancies at the castle by launching an advertising campaign that wrongly portrays the property as haunted. More haunted, like fucking mansions, Gene. Unfortunately, he fails to scare up a single American tourist with his hokey and dreadful, unconvincing effects. When two actual ghosts, Mary and Martin, show up to add some authenticity, they end up falling for each other. This was commissioned by Sidney Kay, came out in 1988. Have not seen it, but now that I feel like I'm an expert on haunted mansions and hot 80s actors, this is right in my wheelhouse.
It's free on Hoopla, everybody. Let's get your library cards. Free on Hoopla.
Yeah, I'm unfortunately banned from that, Gene.
Oh, no. What'd you do?
Fucking Emma lost one of the books she took out of my account, so I'm going to have to go pay for it. She lost it. She thinks she returned it to the school library, but they don't say they have it, so I'm going to have to go fork over the big bucks, Gene. I think it's like $28.
As my mother would say in Farsi, I will eat her liver and bless her for at least reading books. It's a nice thing that old Iranian ladies say.
I know two Farsi phrases now after my time with you.
Oh, yeah?
Aftaba.
Aftabe, yeah.
Aftabe, which is the like watering can that you use to like wipe your ass, right?
Yes.
And then your pache.
Yeah, your pache.
The flag.
Your dong flag.
See?
Good for you. Look at you.
It's only taken 10 years.
All right. Well, thank you, Sydney, for the upcoming commission. Thank you, Emmett, for commissioning Earth Girls Are Easy. Thank you to all the commissioners who make this podcast possible. That concludes this week's episode of Shat the Movies. Be sure to follow us on social media and share with a friend. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram at Shat the Movies. You can email us, host@shatpod.com. Support the podcast by shopping our Amazon affiliate link, buying our merch, or by commissioning your own movie. Find all information by visiting our website, shatpod.com. Also, check out our sister podcast, Shat on TV, review TV series such as Lovecraft Country, Westworld, True Detective, Taboo, American Gods, Game of Thrones, and Watchmen. Find all information on our website, shatpod.com/TV, wherever fine podcasts can be found, including Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, and if you stop by Apple Podcasts, please leave a 5-star review. It helps the podcast grow. On behalf of my co-host, Big D, I'm Gene Lyons. Join us next time for the following movie.
These brave Americans have traveled all the way to Europe to visit a genuine haunted castle.
Castle Blanket! We can promise you ghouls of all descriptions.
There are no bloomin' ghosts here.
But there will be. We'll invent them.
Their host doesn't want them disappointed.
This is the most pitiful supernatural sham that I've ever encountered. We'll get better, I do assure you.
But when you fake a haunting, the real ghosts get mad.
We're going to give those Americans exactly what they came here for.
What is going on here?
Now they're out of the closet.
You're real. You're a real ghost.
Love is in the air. And Jack's just dreamy enough to imagine life with a ghost.
Jack, is that you? There's a man in my bathtub.
That's Martin.
Who's Martin?
He's a ghost. He murders his wife every night. Other than that, I think he's pretty harmless.
Daryl Hannah.
If you loved me, the miracle could happen.
Peter O'Toole.
Oh, sorry, Peter.
Beverly D'Angelo.
You threw me over this? I mean, I knew you liked passive women, Jack, but she's half dead. I hope she has a great personality because this hurts.
Steve Guttenberg.
Oh, I know looks aren't everything.
I'm in here, Jack.
It's just that they can help so much when you...
There's nothing like a vacation to give your spirits a lift. High spirits.